You're on.
Hey everybody, this is Frank Reed. Thank you for watching my channel. I haven't done a sawmill video for a while because I was busy building a wood shed and putting 13 cord of wood in it. And my internet was down for 67 days and whatever. Normally we should have 1.5 feet of snow, but we don't, so I did a little sawing today. But I want to talk about what I did to this Woodlands 130 Max to make it a unbelievable good mill. I love this mill. It's not a production mill, but I love this mill. Okay, we're going to start with the frame. Frame's made out of a 14 by 70 trailer house frame. It was all used stuff. It's 12 inches high, 3 inches wide, 1/8 inch thick, very stiff. My friend Mike, one running the camera right now, we worked in the shop for 5.5 hours one day, welding and shrinking to get both of these perfectly flat, these beams, before I welded it together. Therefore, I don't need any of the adjusters or anything. So when I bolted this down, this mill is rock solid. It's not going to change, okay? Okay, dogs. Extra dogs. I got 2 extra dogs. I got two extra frame extensions on here, so I can cut a daggum log that's longer than 10 inches. I think we can get like 22 or 3 on here or something. But anyhow, that was worthwhile. Here are my dogs. I took the roll pin out here. I actually left it in there. I drove a smaller roll pin in it, let it hang out. Here's why. It stops now. Before, when you got your dog upside down, boom, right on the ground. Very frustrating. Plus somebody could come right along and steal my dog. So we did that. That was good. My fenders go on with a couple clips. I already have them loose, but they go on with a couple clips. That quick and easy to take the fenders off. To saw, I take the tires off. When I saw, it gives me more room. Plus, I welded my axle straight to the frame. I normally don't do that, but all the springs I found were so daggum stiff, and this frame and mill is so light, there's no spring to it anyhow. It's just like being solid, so why have that extra 5 inches of height? So I took them out, okay? We have ramps here. I built these ramps for rolling logs on. I welded all these teeth on here for a reason. When you have a smooth ramp, or even a 2x4 or 4x4 or something, that winch is doing all the work. It's pulling it and turning it. Now the winch turns the log, and as it turns the log becomes like a wheel and walks up the ramp, and the winch has a lot easier job. That's the only way to build a ramp right there. And they're movable, just that easy. Okay, now we'll come down here. We got our boards. I got 2 of these boards. They're just a extra thick rough cut board, 8 inches away. Drilled a bunch of 1 3/8 holes in them. They can go anywhere on the mill. They can go out of a log, under a log. And that's the greatest thing in the world, to hook a PV in and shove a log over. Or go on the other side and move a log this way. You got to make them for your mills, guys. You got to have those. Those are unbelievable good. They really are. Okay, and I put nuts on my jacks so I can use a drill or a ratchet or a speed wrench or a crescent wrench to lift them jacks up and down. Electric drill is really quick. And on my toe board, I made this out of a jack for a camper jack, and I put the same size nut on there so I don't have to have 25 wrenches when I'm working on my mill. So, you know, keep things together. Now we're coming over here. This knob, they like to fall out, and then you got to screw them all the way out. Then you lose them when you go to put them back on. I cut a slot in there. It's a great idea. You just slide it right back together real easy. And here's another thing too. On the back side of that knob, I gnarled up the threads, and so they can't come unscrewed, you know. So I got somebody pulling in here. Stay right there for a minute. Yeah. I knew he was going to do that. So anyhow, that fixes that. I put these nylon blade bumpers back here. They're actually UHMW. They missed the blade by a 1/16 inch. I'm going to tell you two things those do. Today I was cutting this wood right here, this silver maple, and it was starting to pinch my blade. Plus I was running windshield washer antifreeze because it's cold. They didn't want it to freeze. So I twice my blade come to a complete stop, and it did not go off and go on the back. I'm telling you what, and when you put your blade on, you don't have to fiddle around, try to get a center. You just shove it back against the stops and tighten her down. You're ready to rock and roll. Great idea. Put them on your mills, guys. Then, right here, I welded a spark plug socket. You know, those things are nothing. You can get them at Harbor Freight for 50 cents. Everybody's got 2 or 3 extra ones. I welded that on there so I can adjust that belt easier. Otherwise, you're trying to get a pry bar and a screwdriver and a chunk of wood to adjust that. You can use a crescent wrench or a daggum ratchet wrench, yeah, to do that. Wonderful. It's a wonderful idea. Everybody should do. Okay? I'm trying not to forget anything here, guys. Okay, come on down here. I want to talk about this. Get a shot of this, Mike. On here, they show to screw this in all the way right here, all the way. See my dust mark there? Do not go all the way in with them. It's too tight. Go in till there's a round edge right here. Go into the round edge and stop. Don't try to go all the way in. I don't go all the way in. I've had way better luck, better blade luck, everything by doing that, okay? Now, V-belts. I want to talk about V-belts on the wheels. Buy them from Surplus Center. Look it up online. Buy them from Surplus Center. They're American-made V-belts, and they last 10 times longer than any other V-belt I've ever put on here for driving the blade and for tires. Buy them from Surplus Center, okay? Also, well, come back here for a second, Mike. Sorry, guys. Right here, for your blade adjustment, they want you to have 14 thousandths on the top, 14 on the bottom. No, 8 thousandths. I run mine at 8, and this is the flattest cutting saw I've ever owned. 8 thousandths is a mile. It's clearance. So adjust them down to 8 thousandths. You'll get better cuts. Everything will work better. Then come on over here. I put electric lift on here. The only reason I didn't build my own was I'm praying that Woodlands will make a little computer sit here that you can punch how thick you want to cut, and every time you push the button it'll go down the right amount, just like Wood-Mizer has in their simple set. That's why I bought theirs, hoping that they will come out with a computer someday, so I wanted to run with theirs, okay? The other thing I put on here, and the attachment's right here, I got it latched down. The reason I got a strap on here is when I don't pay attention, this shock absorber will actually push it up a hair, and I won't get a square cut like I want normally. So when I'm not making siding, I pull this down and suck it down. When I'm making siding, I take that off, and just by grabbing this lever right here, pulling up and down, you can cut lap siding. Wonderful, wonderful addition. Good one. Now my skew gauge, I got a little black paint on the top edge here. I made it out of plexiglass. They had a red thing there. I can't see when the line's coming up. All of a sudden the line's over the top, then I got to come down. I love this gauge. I just blacken that with black, and I can get right down so tight and close. I made that. That's a really good fix. Another thing here, I took their valve out here, and I tapped it and put a filter on it down to a valve right here. Then over, when you're cutting, you want more water, you give it more. You want less water, you give it more. You don't even have to stop, walk over here, turn this thing, and those get a little bit of sawdust in them. It just happens. And then it plugs up. So by doing that, you got a filter, it never plugs up, and you can adjust it right here. Wonderful, wonderful attachment. And it's right there where you can just reach right up there with one hand, adjust it while you're pushing. That's almost a must, guys. You need to do that. It's really improved this machine a lot. Now let's talk about this here. Here's my removable tow hitch, so nobody can steal my mill, and so I don't trip over this thing. And my buddy Mike laughs when I do a face plant and eat a bunch of dirt. I don't like dirt. I take that out when I park the mill somewhere, and nobody can steal my mill. Okay, I'm going to talk about a toolbox. That's a nice little addition. Down in here, carry wrenches and Siliglide and all our backstops. I can lock it up, and if you look down here, I put it on expanded metal so sawdust can just fall to the floor. Now let's talk about this. This is the battery that runs my winch. I put a gauge in the top so I can tell how much battery I got. We can tell how we're doing, if we're getting better or worse or whatever. There's something I wrote in here. 32-inch max, that's it. You cannot get bigger than a 32-inch log on here. You cannot. I just don't. Okay, now I'll come over here. This is, I'm going to close this up. Oh, I want to show you this first. This is the blade guard that protects the blade from hitting your backstops. Well, you got to use an Allen wrench. It's a piece of junk. I got it a little tight right now, so I have to use a pair of pliers. I put a thumb wheel on there. You could change it just with a thumb wheel, but here's what I did. Just bumped my head. I flattened that to the angle I want it, because as you go, they'll tend to vibrate and move around. I'm telling you right now, that's the only way to go. Then the thumb wheel, you just screw it in, and bam, changing blades way faster and better. And it's always in the same place every time. Now I'll come over here. I made this here out of aluminum. 2 magnets on there. Pretty good magnets, actually. Because I got to take it on and off when I open the door here, but sawdust diverter. Instead of throwing sawdust clear into the next county, I drive it right into the ground, as you see right here. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful addition. Okay, so we're going down here now. We're almost done. I built 2 of these winches. I'll tell you, you only need one. It's a 2,500 pound winch. I'm going to turn it on here. Runs off that battery. Okay. We use this winch for rolling the logs up on here when we don't have a forklift or anything. Another thing too, you hook onto it, wrap it around the log, and you can turn the log. Stay there, Mike. I'm coming back with something here. So, to make it easier to roll them, look what I did to my backstops. Welded 2 bolts on there, nuts. Now the log rolls against the wheels instead of catching on the front here and trying to climb over the top. With this winch, we can turn it this way and roll it this way, or you can put it around this way and roll it the other way. We only need it when there's long logs. You pick it up and put it out of the way when you're cutting. Okay, and I guess, folks, that's it. This is a wonderful little mill. The improvements I did to it make it a unbelievably good mill. At one time I thought I was going to put a power feed on it for feeding it down the log, but I'm going to tell you right now, I like being able to feel how hard it's cutting, because blades do dull and you can feel them when you can't feel them with electric drive. So anyhow, that's kind of the things I've done to my mill to make it better. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I encourage anybody to copy any of these ideas. Some of them are not even my ideas. Oh, and by the way, that's off an old PV. My neighbor Mike gave me a couple of those. Goes right on, hooks a log, wonderful. So anyhow, do some improvements to your mill. Don't live with stuff that ain't working. Those blade bumpers you got to put them on. I would not run a mill again without them on. That saved me a couple blades today. So everybody have a wonderful day, and probably won't see too many more videos before spring because it should be snowing, but next spring we'll start doing some more. Thank you for watching my channel. Bye.